Hello, gang. Welcome to Sophie's Voice. I'm Sophie, and this is my voice. Well, actually, this is a singing bowl, but you can hear my voice. All right. So today I wanted to take a bit of time to talk about the truth and how we work it out. We are living in very strange times where the battleground really is for truth and for the faith and goodwill of humanity, understanding where we're going and what's happening. Every day now we have to be working out what's true. AI has just put a whole another dimension into the mix that nobody could have foreseen. Like it's just insane. But so I don't think we should be discouraged or put off. It just means that we've got to sharpen those skills. And I don't think it's as hard as we think, but I think we get bamboozled and we think we can't work it out. But we've got to keep trying because it's so important to know, to learn to discern who's speaking the truth. And I think probably a big part of it is making sure we're clean in that regard, that we are honest with ourselves and are continually working to not have layers of deception within ourselves, because I think that makes us really vulnerable to deception if we're not really being honest with ourselves. Because I think everyone has like a truth teller down in your gut. You got a truth knower, I should say. Well, maybe it's both. It's a truth teller, truth knower. And if our sort of other parts of our personality and our being is not listening to that properly, then that's, I think, when you get into trouble. And sometimes we don't want to listen to it because it's telling us things we don't want to know. And so that's kind of, so this is 10, no, I didn't get to 10, 9 ideas of how you can stay in good relationship with the truth and to discern the truth in these crazy days of where it's all information is weaponized and being used and propaganda is in overdrive. I think a lot of us are realizing that there's been a lot of propagandizing and mind control of the population for much longer than we've understood, even though there's been sort of hints of us understanding that. But I think it's really sorry, just making sure I'm still recording. It's really the awareness of it is amped up, but also the technology and the ability to do that and the motivation to do that it's like there's this intensity, isn't it? And like having the internet and doing a lot of our relating through the internet. And one of the problems with that is you're not getting lots of layers of information that you normally do in real life. So anyway, so the first thing I wrote down was that you need to believe that the truth exists. Now, I think there's been a long time in our culture of putting doubt in our minds that actual objective truth is a reality. We've been given this idea that we all have our own truth and that nobody can tell anyone else what the truth is because everyone's truth is different. And even though there may be a truth to it, part of the truth, it's not, it's like it's either true or it's not. And so it becomes a conundrum. It goes round and round. Like, is that true? That everyone has their own truth? So the fact that we all perceive truth differently is certainly true. Like we all have lots of different filters and experiences and belief systems and values. So when a group of people all perceive the same thing, we're going to interpret it differently. But that's different to the concept of truth, which is the idea of something that is separate to you and your feelings. So that would be objective truth that we're referring to. So, so truth. So what we're trying to get to, so even though subjective truth is in the picture, so there's both things. There's subjective truth and then there's objective truth. So objective truth is that the mountain exists whether or not I see it or believe in it. It's just there. Now I might think different things about the mountain, but it is an objective truth, if you know what I mean. So, all right. So, yeah, so I was thinking about, yeah, the reality is multifaceted, and so the pursuit of truth is multifaceted. So we need to bring all of ourselves into the picture, and we need to be committed to this. I think we need to understand the importance of it, of knowing what's true and what's not true, because at the end of the day, it is about it's about illusion and deception, is what we're trying to counteract. So troubles with the truth happen when we are not perceiving properly, where there's distortion of perception and we can't see properly, or deception. And so, of course, that's the big thing that we're looking at the moment, especially with all the information and the things that are going on in the world, and the people that are vying for your belief. So it's deception. So if we understand that deception is the problem, not whose truth, you're not trying to work out whose truth. Do I believe your truth or do I believe your truth? You're looking for the truth rather than the lie. So you're wanting to say, I don't want a lie, I don't want deception. I want to know what is true, apart from what everyone thinks who's involved or maybe invested in the situation. So we've got two minds to work this out with. One is the rational mind, and the other one is what you might call the story mind, or the dreaming mind, or the emotional mind, or there's different words. I would say it's sort of like it's the soul mind. It's the mind that understands your soul realm. But the other mind, the rational mind, is, the word rational comes from the idea of measuring. It's the measurable world. That is the mind that is attuned to that and understands that. And I think they're both operating together. They both need to operate together. But I think the rational mind always needs to have a little bit more, it has to have the final say, in a sense, that both need to be analysing the picture and bringing information. But I think the rational mind is the sort of protective mind. It's got to look out for you and make sure you're safe, and that's, I think, really important in these times of working out what's true or not. Your rational mind needs, it's like, obviously it can't, you don't want it to dominate and not bring in your other ways of understanding, but the rational mind really needs to be free to really analyze and see what it needs to see. Because it's like as if your rational mind is sort of connected down to that like truth knower part of you, I feel. And that when one's blocked, the other one gets blocked. And so that sort of clear, rational, free thinking is quite often attacked when people are wanting to like get you involved in a cult or something like that. They don't want you to have too much clarity in that rational side of your mind that is not so connected to emotion, because manipulators and liars want to connect to your emotion to take you captive. So the number 2 is don't take it personally. So this is really important, is to not get too invested personally while you're analysing what's true or not. Obviously, like, things are going to be personal and they are going to be that way, but there needs to be a way in what I would call to keep your processing in the foyer, and always be ready to take it back to an impersonal position. If you start to feel like I've received something into myself that's maybe not true, bring it back into the foyer. So the foyer idea is that you see information. Your world is full of information. You see this is an important piece of information. I have to work out if this is true or not. So instead of trying to work it out without properly analysing it, people want to just sort of see the indicators and make a judgment to either receive it or not, or reject it. But you have to have this in-between space where you can allow it to in close enough that you can analyse it and look at it, but not receive it in straight away. You don't have to say, this is what I believe, straight away. you need to put it in a space where you can analyze it and not take it personally, to be able to look at it, process the information, and either say, yeah, no, or I'll just leave it there for a bit, or yeah, I really think that's true, and receive that into yourself. Here, number 3, hear different sources. Hear from different sources. Now, this is like, we're all really aware of that at the moment, that with our algorithms that are tending to put us into these bubbles of information that are just reaffirming what we've already ascribed to. But it's really important to continually being challenged. Don't block challenging. It's an uncomfortable feeling when information comes and it challenges what we've already received and what we believe to be the truth. But if we put truth above that, if we put our love of truth as foremost, then we must sacrifice our own feelings, our own sense of security, because it's not real security. It makes us feel insecure, but that's just a process. If we've received something into ourselves, it's like if you're in a relationship or something and you're seeing indicators that someone's being unfaithful to you and that they're lying to you. Sometimes you don't want to see that information because it's too nice, this appearance of security you have. Sometimes you have to go, I have to receive that information and let it change me. And so it's like that. I think we just have to have integrity within ourselves and be willing to allow information in that contradicts what we've already received. So that involves, so I personally wouldn't look at mainstream media, except maybe occasionally, for a bit of sort of current news or something, but you can presume that they've all got an agenda. So, mainstream media should have checks and balances, but I think these days a lot of us have lost trust in whatever the process we believed that was in place, and now it just seems like that people, like, they're bought and paid for, like they're just spouting certain perspectives. So everyone's got their perspective, of course, we know that. And so, but just allowing, this is self-evident, obviously, but just making sure that it's hard once you're in an algorithm loop. So sometimes you got to look, and like, it's been handy for me having Tim, who's coming from a very different perspective, and it's been really useful. I've found that I've been exposed to voices that I wasn't being exposed to, and it's helping me to see flaws in some of the voices that I was listening to, because you see it in contrast and you go, oh, okay, and you get a bit comfortable in those voices, and it starts to confirm a position. And so I think we have to be rigorous with ourselves. We have to be disciplined and not just fall into those comfortable habits of thought. Look for verifiable facts. Don't jump to conclusions based on what you want. So that's kind of similar to what we've been saying. But AI, train your eye to notice the giveaways, I've said here. So look for verifiable facts. So AI is a huge one. So I do think it's worthwhile. I think a lot of people just sort of say, sometimes when I sort of pick it's AI and I let someone know, I'm presuming they're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to share something that's fake. Even if it's just a cutesy thing, I think if you receive it as true information, even if it's just cutesy and it doesn't mean anything, you're still receiving false information as though it's true. So if you know it's AI and you know it's a cutesy story that's sort of based on reality, but it's just a cute thing that you like looking at, that's fine. But if you're receiving it as true information about the way nature works, or the way humans work, or the way reality is, that's really dangerous. And I think that's why we're all really aware that it's like, well, how are we going to manage this? But we can, and we've got to train our eye to see, and we've got to keep connected to reality and truth, and we'll work it out. And you won't always get it right, but you'll always get better. So don't just be lazy and just sort of like, But also don't be too, I notice some people are like getting too hypersensitive now, and that can be a problem too. And that's where you jump into conclusions. So you're, once again, you've got to be wary that you're not like, the unconscious part of you is like, I don't want that to be true. So you see something and you go, oh, that's AI. And it's a way of dismissing information. It is a challenge, and not all of us want to do that, analyze things quite to the nth degree, but I think it's really important. And don't just dismiss things as AI, like I said, because you think that it probably is, or you just don't want to believe that or whatever. Find ways of fact checking things and analyzing to get a good idea. But just, like, is it important to know the truth or not? Like, we need to know and need to be able to discern what's true. So number 5 is beware of arguments that make you feel more than you think. So this is a strategy that's really being used a lot. It's probably an eternal strategy if someone wants to deceive someone, to access them through a more emotional feeling, believing part of them, and to block out that sort of rational side. Because when you're feeling strong feelings, of course, your rational mind is put to the background. So strong feelings are important, and they're part of life, and they're what life's made of, really. But it's this relationship between the two. And so if we're working out what's true or not, so you've just got to watch out. Like I say, it's about deception. It's not about... So it's like you might see material that is emotional, that makes you feel something. Like you might watch something about the children in Gaza, and it might make you feel something. But that's not necessarily deception. That's just information that makes you feel something. But what you got to look out for is where something is produced, and you're being told information about what to attach to those feelings. So it's something that's evoking strong feelings through techniques and music and the way things are presented to you, but they're making you come at it through feeling, and then they're attaching ideas to that feeling. So that's really important to be aware that if something makes your feelings surge and makes you want to grab onto something as like, yes, I'm going to, like, through your anger or your passion or your emotion, like, let those emotions settle down and then go back to analyzing, looking at it. Is it true? Is it true? I don't want it if it's not true. So number 6 I've got is, don't look for what's right according to your tribe. So that's what's, I think, really being appealed to at the moment, is for us to want to orient ourselves towards groupings of people that are all kind of vibing in the same way about the information that we're getting. And then there's a really strong pull for that, because it's a really awful feeling if the tribe that you belonging to all see something and you see it differently, and you're getting information that makes you think that they've got it wrong. And what do you do with that? Do you just go, oh, well, probably I'm wrong? Like, that's really important, that that you don't be afraid of losing people to align yourself with truth. So it doesn't mean you're going to be right necessarily, but you don't want to just obscure that. So you go, oh, well, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm with my tribe, I'll just go along with what they think, and then I'll be safe because I'll be in community. I'll be looked after by my tribe, by my people. And that's the really strong instinctive feeling. But I think what we're being called to now is to operate on principles rather than on that tribal, instinctual, natural part of us, that we need to be clear about principles, that principles need to be more important than that sort of tribal state of mind where you get a false sense of security by, and I mean, in some senses it's a very real sense of security, because people that align themselves with principle quite often do get a lot of trouble from these forces that want to control and want to control people's perception of truth and lie to people, trick them and deceive them and take them into awful situations. So So yeah, I think if you want to be aligned with good and right and God, I think you've got to understand this realm of principles, which is where your rational mind is so important to be able to say, no, that's not real. That's on principle. Yeah, having integrity to align with principles rather than your tribe. So number 7, it's not about being right. A lot of people just want to be right for status, certainty, and feeling superior. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Just check yourself that you're not, when you get into these situations and you see it in the comment section, everyone's just like not really thinking and analyzing and properly exchanging information, which is what we need to do. They just kind of got the right hammer, the hammer that says I'm right, and they just want to hit everyone else with it because it feels good on some very primitive level to like feel like I'm right, so that makes me superior, that makes me worthy of being looked after or something because I'm right. So we don't want that. We want to, like I say, align with the truth, even if makes you wrong, and that's okay. It's better to align with the truth. The truth is eternal. The truth is right, and the truth will look after you in the end, eternally. Okay, number 8. Don't take sides. Side with the truth. So once again, pretty self-explanatory. Don't take sides. Side with the truth. So at the moment, for instance, the Gaza situation, the Palestine, Israel. So there's people have all different positions, and it's not that what you're perceiving isn't going to align with certain people, but if you get too caught up in taking sides, and then the other side is wrong and your side is right, and then it becomes more of that tribal thing, and you taking sides and just fighting with the people rather than trying to work out the truth. So that's why, discussion is so important at this time. Is that all about that? I can't remember. What was it? Take a side with the truth. Yes. So it's not about like, oh, everyone's got to side with the picture. We've got to listen to everyone. So it's like side with the truth. There's a truth in amongst all everyone's beliefs. So it's a bit like, it reminds me of the flat earth kind of idea, which has been a really interesting one to see that develop. That some people have started to take on the idea that there is a flat earth rather than a global earth. I don't know if I should talk about this now, but anyway, it's probably a bit late in it. I'll do that another time. But that's a really important one. It's a really good one for getting clear in your mind that there is a truth that is separate from what everyone believes. So some people want to align themselves more with a group and a type of thinking and an association with a belief rather than the wanting to be aligned with what is real. So there is a reality that either the earth is a globe or the earth is some sort of other construct that people are trying to invent. And I think mainly to align with something that they want to be true rather than actually wanting to know what actually is objectively true. All right, and number 9 I've got is to step back and try and see the big picture. So I think sometimes when we're too much in amongst it all and we're holding on to this, we're holding on to that, we're listening to this, and there's too much information, let it all go and step back, let go. Like your discernment, your figuring out isn't creating truth or isn't holding truth in line. You need to be able to step back and just say, I just want to know the truth. I don't always know what it is, but that's my alignment. Like it's like being aligned with true north. Like I don't always get it right, and I don't always know, but that's what I want. I want to know the truth. And stepping back, and also you can see bigger themes. I think deceptive people want to keep you in close where they can feed you information that is emotive, or that can be made to look a certain way. But if you step back and you start to see some of the bigger themes, and you start to see other things that certain characters have done, what is the history, what is the character of the people talking, what are the multiple voices that are talking around these topics, and that is a really good way to help to do that. Okay, I hope that's of some help to someone. These are interesting times we're living in, but exciting times, and we're here for it. I'm here for it. God bless. See ya.